When I became coordinator, I reviewed all the material needs for all the courses. And I was a bit shocked at the cost of the non-consumable tools that we were asking.
The grant allowed us to purchase some of the materials that we were previously requiring students to buy themselves, and we created a lending library. So we have about 80 students every year who spend fall and spring in our Foundations program. And because in the Foundations program, not all students have computers and software that allow them to do digital drawings, we ask them to have T-squares and triangles and all of the things that go into constructing exact images.
So we're using this grant to offset the cost so they can invest in the consumable materials rather than the non-consumable materials. And this helps equalize things, that students have equal access to the tools they need regardless of instructor.
Design students don't buy a lot of books, they buy a lot of materials to do all sorts of things like prototypes and models. Often they have a bunch of leftovers, so usually it goes back into the trash. So the Scrapberry is meant for them to be able to put them in the cart and to be able, to share them with their classmates and for them to use the materials that their classmates shared. I do a studio with the sophomore student, which is turned toward design in the shared economy. So I took that project and turned it into a class assignment. So the student actually designed the model from scratch. And they did all the design, of course, but also the technical side of it. As a design student, they were doing something that was going to be turned into something real. So they were actually really excited about it. We also expect this project to have an impact on making study of design a little bit more sustainable.
I'm looking forward to applying for the next grant where we will bring in hopefully some ideas about creating tutorials with these tools. So again, teaching time won't be taken up with that. Then we can start expanding the needs of the creative aspects rather than the functional aspects of things.
In this day and age, I think it becomes even more important to recognize the value of things that might have been considered waste before and things that have already been used by someone else. And to remember to look through students' eyes to think about what the requirements for a course are actually costing, both in price, but also in the time that it requires students to go and seek things off campus or beyond.